Morning, Martin.
Good morning. I seem to be
Letting everyone
huge
into the
on your
room.
screen. What's going on here?
Oh,
Meeting summary with AI companion is on.
the welcome slide.
Okay.
Make sure everyone else can see it. So good morning if you're tuning in on LinkedIn. It's the LinkedIn Live. We're also going live to YouTube as well. Welcome. This is the Lead Generation Masterclass week. I think we're on week 4 at the moment. I'm just going to bring up a few slides so you can follow through with me. But welcome, Martin. There's a couple more in the wings there. They're a bit shy, but feel free to turn your camera on, turn your audio on if you want to partake in the masterclass. Today's focus is all around email marketing, and when we talk about email, we'll look at kind of cold email, warm email, and where this fits in with the whole kind of leadeth strategy. Okay, let's go for a screen share. The text kind of half working for me today. I've got a screen that's too big, so I'm just going to reduce it down. That's better, and then I can still see you, Martin, and anyone else that wants to join in. So today's session, Email Like a Pro. We're going to be looking at, crafting compelling follow-up emails that hopefully going to convert prospects into leads and ideally paying clients. On the agenda today, we've got quite a bit to get through. The session is about 45 minutes long, so we should be done at 9:45 UK time. Quick introduction and overview. We're going to look at kind of 5 steps that you need to think about in terms of preparing for an email marketing campaign. We're going to look at kind of best practices for that kind of follow-up process. Going to introduce a few bonus tools. I've probably got more than 2 actually. If you're kind of new to email marketing, I've kind of done all the hard work, saved you the time of kind of researching the best tools that are out there. I kind of present the tools that I've used in the past and tools that I'm currently using to kind of automate this and do it a lot more effectively. We'll also look at how we can automate email campaigns within the actual Leadeth tool. So yeah, and then we'll end the meeting 10 minutes with a bit of an open Q&A time. Have a look at the questions on the live. So if you're new to the LinkedIn Lead Generation Masterclass, recommend you follow on our website and sign up, because then you'll get the links to join us on the Zoom meeting. It's much more interactive when people hop into the calls. You can do that by going to leadeth.io/masterclass. So good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm going to be your host this morning, Alex Smith. Over 10 years of experience working in LinkedIn marketing, developed various businesses and effective strategies for those businesses to help them grow and scale. But today's focus, I'm excited to share with you some of the top tips and insights on kind of email marketing. Throughout the session, you're going to learn some best practices. Just let another one in the room pick up. Best practices, proven strategies to help you to connect with potential clients or prospects via LinkedIn. So hopefully by the end of the session, you're going to have some insights in terms of how to conduct email marketing really effectively and get results from it. Neka, good morning. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
Just doing some introductions and housekeeping and explaining kind of what we're on about this morning, but that will come in a little bit later again. So in terms of this marketing methodology, this is what we talk about all the time. This is the funnel, the process, and we're kind of leveraging primarily LinkedIn as an outreach strategy. But really what complements the LinkedIn strategy is email marketing. Once we've got those, got that audience and we've connected with them on LinkedIn, we can then reach out to them with a warm email and say, hey, we've connected on LinkedIn. Could you be interested in whatever we've got to offer? And then that drives them down through that funnel process. Consider, that's where prospects are weighing up their options and comparing you to others potentially. So if you've got email marketing as part of your strategy there, a bit of a kind of long-term warm-up email sequence going on, that's going to help people to, it's going to overcome their objections. So the classic example I give is top 10 challenges of maybe an industry. And you can just do literally 10 emails focusing on, those top 10 challenges. If you don't know what the top 10 challenges are of an industry, just head over to Google. Google will give you the answers, or go to something like Ask the Public. There's loads of websites out there that will kind of give you the answers, because that's the pain point. That's what people are struggling with. So if we start to address that pain point and educate them with emails, we're elevating you as a kind of thought leader in that space. I hope that makes sense. So obviously you've got purchase stage and retention, retaining clients, and obviously email communications can still be used kind of retention and beyond, to kind of nurture those clients and maintain them. The modern version of this is called the flywheel effect. It's where we're attracting those clients. We're then engaging with the clients, delighting them. They become advocates for us, which in turn drive more people into attracting people into this whole ecosystem that we're creating. So bit of an introduction. Today we're focusing on emails, as mentioned, and we've connected with the prospects already on LinkedIn. Watch back last week if you want to learn about different strategies we looked at to kind of start connecting with that audience. LinkedIn is really good because the majority of the time people will add their email address to their LinkedIn profile. And as soon as you're connected to them, you can now kind of scrape that email address and start targeting them. Obviously, there's GDPR implications, but to me, I see that as legitimate consent. If they've seen your profile and you're clearly outlining what it is you do on your profile, I just see that as fair game for a nice courtesy warm-up email. A lot of people are doing this manually anyway. So if you can just automate that process, it's even better. So let's just have a quick look at the roadmap, see where we've gone and where we're heading. We started off, did quite a bit of work at looking at the target audience. We looked at how to really refine your personal LinkedIn profile to make sure it's speaking to your target audience. Last week, we looked at different outreach strategies in terms of LinkedIn, how to kind of put those connections out there, where to find that audience, different places, groups, events, all those sort of things. And then this natural follow-up piece here, week 4, is all about email marketing. And it's very much about reaching prospects at the best time and place with the best kind of method. So often a lot of people just aren't responsive on LinkedIn messages or DMs. They're too busy. They don't have the time. So when we have an omni-channel approach, we can actually, we've tried the LinkedIn, they've connected, and that's as far as it's got. But if we can nurture that relationship a bit further with maybe a warm email, that's giving us more opportunities. Let's start with a stat. So this is great. The top 6 email marketing stats come from HubSpot. HubSpot are one of the kind of leading players in terms of email automation and marketing. These stats are great. So 4 billion email users daily. 37% of brands are increasing their email budget. Well, it's a huge percentage. So obviously there's got to be something in this email marketing malarkey, because a lot of big companies are kind of doing it now. Majority of marketeers using email. They're talking about mobile-friendly emails as part of their marketing strategy. And that's another key thing here. When you're creating these emails, we're not talking often about the fancy promotional emails. They get picked up quite quickly and chucked into spam. This is intentional emails with a specific target in mind, very personal approach, but kind of semi-automated. So, there's a bit of automation there doing it in the background to save you time and money. When we think about that audience, again, segmentation is the most effective marketing campaign strategy, and that's where we're driving into a specific audience. So it could be you've already done a campaign with emails and you've got quite a few people that have opened or engaged with that specific email or a specific element of that email. When we talk about segmentation, it's all about saying, right, let's now send a follow-up email just to those people that have really engaged and on a specific element of the email, just so we can make it really more personal to them. The more you kind of segment the audience and create these kind of different personas, that really helps. 33% of marketers send weekly emails, quite a high figure there, using email, and 26% send multiple times per month. Yeah, so huge stats. 77% of marketers have seen an increase in email engagement over the last 12 months. I think that was an old slide, came from last year, but I'm pretty sure those figures are probably going to be very similar to that this year. Let's look at how to kind of get set up with emails then and warm up. Maybe just before we do that, a quick round the room. Is anyone doing email marketing yet? Good to understand kind of where you guys are at. A lot of nods. Christopher, a nod or a shake or a thumbs up. Yep, you are doing email marketing. Great. So Christopher might be a bit of an expert here. I don't know.
No, I wouldn't. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, go.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe myself as an expert, but I do send emails for 2 or 3 different clients, and I'm a great fan.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So in terms of what we need to be doing to kind of prepare for this, this is where a lot of people get caught out. They'll just set up an email account and just fire off, 1,000 emails left, right, and center. And they'll get caught out, people haven't opted in. They could get blacklisted, which will affect their domain. So they'll start losing traffic to their website and their reputation goes downhill. So it's really important that we kind of prepare for this email marketing campaign in the right way. So that's kind of why we do it. We want to ensure that your emails end up in the inbox, not the spam or get bounced back. So that's a key consideration. So we're going to look at best practices. Some of this is quite technical, the configuration side. We'll look at DKIM and other essential settings, which is all going to help you. Obviously, language and content tips, we'll look at that as well in a bit of detail. So hopefully by the end of this session, you're going to have a clear understanding of the factors that are going to help you to kind of improve your email deliverability and what we can do to kind of maximize our results and minimize the risk of anything getting caught out. So let's have a look what we've got here. Right, preparing for email marketing. So to start, we need to set up a separate email account specifically for the email outreach. And this is what I do with kind of my kind of done for you clients, best practice. It's going to help those emails being blacklisted or caught out in spam. And when you conduct your email outreach, it's going to be important to be aware that, if you're new to email marketing, mistakes can be made. So it just gives you a bit of protection. If you're doing it from a separate domain, it's not going to impact your kind of real domain. So testing is crucial with kind of cold email or warm email. So just in case you're not aware, cold email is when we're going out to an email address we don't know the person as such. And a warm email is where we're going out to someone we might kind of know. They've expressed an interest in what we do. They've attended a masterclass or something like that. So they're a bit warmer. So obviously, as we're kind of testing emails, we need to make sure that we've got a process and we need to be able to craft something that's going to be unique. It's going to be valuable. And there's always a possibility that someone could mark that email, as spam without even reading it. So having that separate domain will really help you to test freely and without fear of getting caught in these email blacklist servers, which we'll look at in a bit. Secondly, warming up of your domain. So if you've just bought a brand new domain name, obviously that domain won't exist in any of these blacklist servers. So they'll be very wary about, anyone who's sending emails from this domain. So the second process is to kind of warm up that domain name. And the way we do that is by sending lots of test emails and building up the amount of activity on that domain. And that's going to prevent, hopefully a lot of junk email servers flagging you up as a spammer, because that's the technique spammers are doing. Spammers are creating these new domains. If I was a hacker and I was phishing for some sort of scam saying click on this delivery tracking link if you've not seen your parcel, it'd come from a brand new domain, and then people would try to warm up that domain. So that's exactly what we're doing here. We're kind of warming up that domain to make it look like it's been used for some time. So There's lots of little software tools out there that can do that for you. The very first one that I used was called Warm Up Inbox. It looks a little bit like this. Let me just show you on here. Warm Up Inbox. And you basically connect your email inbox if you're using Google Workspace, or you could be using something else like Outlook. You connect it to the tool, and then on your behalf, it pushes out lots of emails, and those emails are going to maybe other users on the platform. And you can basically log into the platform and see how warm your email is. Typically, this process takes around about a month. So the warming up of an email, you'd probably want to be doing this for about a month to get it up to kind of full heat. So that's Warm Up Inbox. I'll pop a link in that if you're interested in that. There are other solutions which I'm going to share as well, which kind of skip all this warming up process because they're kind of done for you. Thirdly, we need to think about setting up what we call SPF and DKIM records. So these are kind of little tags that sit on your domain name. So wherever you've bought your domain name from, that's where we configure these tags. So if you're with GoDaddy and you've got a domain name with GoDaddy, you'd be able to log into GoDaddy and go into your DNS, your domain name server settings, and then add these bits of information there. And all these software like Warm Up Inbox will tell you how to do that. If you're using MailerLite, MailChimp, or any other email marketing software, they're pretty clear on the instructions. So SPF basically means send a policy framework, and it's basically the protocol that sits on your domain, and it enables email recipients to verify that it's a genuine email address from an authorized source. So it basically, yeah, as I say, you can add it as a tag on your server. So any emails that you then send out, it kind of adds this extra security layer to your emails. So when it hits an email server, they know it's a real email and it's genuine. The other one is called a DKIM, and that stands for Domain Keys Identified Mail. Again, it's very similar to the SPF key. It's a little bit more secure, and it kind of acts as like a digital signature which sits on your emails, and that's verified by the recipient's email server to ensure that the email's not been tampered with in any shape or form. So it's coming from exactly the claimed domain which you're sending from. Quite often people will set up a something like a MailChimp account. They'll connect their domain but forget to send the DKIM records, and what we see is their spam score is very low because they haven't kind of wired it up correctly. So a lot of emails will just go straight into spam or junk because they're not verified. So it's vital to kind of make sure we're set up correctly to verify the authenticity of these emails. Furthermore, you've got this tool called MX Toolbox. There's a lot of them out there. There's Google App Toolbox, loads of similar tools where you can use to test whether you've actually set up this email correctly. One here, if you want to use, it's called Talos. Talos is Reputation Center. This is quite an interesting one because it basically logs all of the email spam servers. So if you've got a domain name, Microsoft.com, for example, you can search for that domain name. That goes out and then kind of scans the internet to see what the status is of the domain name, and it normally comes back with a report saying this domain is fine, or hey, one of the 71 blacklist servers around the world has identified that there could be an issue with it. But yeah, so it basically identifies those. So we can see the mail servers that Microsoft uses. It's we've got a trusted tick there. We can see some email volume data as well. It gives you a bit of information, and then we've got all the IP addresses. Some are neutral, some are good. But obviously, if some of these email servers were scoring bad, we can then go in a bit more detail and investigate why that might be. So another great tool that we've been using is mailtester.com. So with mailtester.com, this is for testing, how spammy your emails are looking. So before you send an email campaign, what you can do is send a test of that email to this address here, and then send the email, and then come back here and click check the score. This then checks, checks the subject line, the content, checks if the SPIF, the SP and DKIM records are correct, and does everything. It gives you a score kind of out of 10, I think. And then it also gives you some suggestions on how to improve that score. The idea is we want to get a really high deliverability score. So it's good from time to time to have this as a bit of a process. Just shoot one of your emails to this address just to see how it ranks it and how it rates your emails. Hope that's been helpful. The next step is, depending on your email provider, but in general, it's to make sure you've got the structured line of text and the correct location in your DNS. So that's the SPF and DKIM records. We've then got gradually increasing the email sending. So the gradual is the secret here. I mean, suddenly sending huge numbers of emails on a brand new domain is very risky. A lot of those emails will just end up in spam. So it's really important that we kind of have this kind of slow process of kind of building it up steadily. So think about 5 per day, and then increasing it up to 20 by the end of the week. And then once you're at that the kind of the 50 emails per day, that should be pretty smooth and steady for a nice outbound outreach. Now there's a lot of tools out there which can, as I say, can do this. Warm Up Inbox is doing this for you. You just connect to your domain and it sends the emails and receives emails. So that's a really good tool to use. The Leadith platform as well, we've got this warm up feature built in. So I'll just show it to you now. Within the tool, we've got integrations. We can then go to emails. So I've connected some of my Gmail accounts here to the tool. And this email here, so I've got leadith.co.uk, which is not really my main website, doesn't sit there. It's just a forwarded domain, but it's what I use for kind of my cold email approach. So it doesn't impede my main domain name. And then we've got this warm up setting here. I've actually turned it off because my email account is pretty warm. But when we turn it on, we can actually see how many emails we're pushing out and whether some are getting caught up in spam. So, about a month ago, I had this turned on. You can see there 19 got bounced. And then the next day, 5th of October, I think it was only 1 got bounced there. And then none were getting bounced consistently. So I've dropped it down to 41 and turned it off. You can see with this turned on now, it's scheduled to send 23 emails from this domain. And we can come in here and change the setting to say, send the emails between this time of day. How many a day do you want to increase by? So maybe just 3 or 2. And then this just works in the background, warming up my email inbox for me. So I know that when I'm ready to send an email marketing campaign, deliverability is going to be really positive and really strong. So yeah, as I say, the 5th step is just to verify the reputation of your domain. Think about that site there, Talos, to help you look at the reputation. Also use email testers. There's hundreds of these email testers around there. If you just Google email tester or something like that, you'll find one. This one's called mail-tester.com. They let you do 5 a day, the free versions, and then if you want to subscribe, you can. But normally, just you only need 1 email once a month just to make sure they're going right. Also, if you've got deliverability issues and people are saying, "Hey, I didn't get your email. It was in the spam folder or junk folder quite often," that's a good process to have for kind of looking at that. So that's kind of the preparation stage in terms of that email marketing and getting your email accounts connected, hooked up, making sure deliverability is as strong as it can be. We'll move on to some best practices. Now, I'm a big fan of the StoryBrand framework. StoryBrand is a book by an author called Donald Miller, is a New York best-selling author. And this is a really good book that I promote. It follows a framework and then emphasizes the importance, of positioning the customer as the hero of your story. And the business or yourself, you're the guide who's going to help that customer overcome their challenges and achieve their goals. The framework's based on 7 key elements, just to give you a kind of bird's eye view of what it's about. The first one being a clear understanding of the customer's problem. So when we think about emails, we need to start communicating this within those emails. The second point is the benefits of solving that problem. So now we know kind of what the customer's problem is. Think about, what are the benefits that they're going to see if you solve their problem? Because that's kind of tapping into the emotive stuff as well. 3 is all about having the plan. So this is a proven process, which takes people from, step 1 to 3. They know what the 3 steps are. If they follow the steps, bingo, the problem is solved. Number 4 is all about, what are the consequences of not solving the problem? So if you don't address that problem, what's it look like for them? And this is very straightforward stuff, but it actually makes really good sense when you start to kind of verbalize this and have a bit of a business plan built around this. And when we go in later to kind of build an email using something like ChatGPT, if we know all this stuff, this forms part of our prompt within ChatGPT. So step 5 is a clear call to action. Every email needs a clear call to action. No matter how simple, if there's no call to action, you probably shouldn't even be sending an email. There's got to be, what's the next step on this? What do you want them to do next? So 6 is obviously what success looks like, the vision of success. And 7 is the role of you, the business, as the guide to help the customer achieve this success. So if you follow this framework, obviously your business, you'll create this clear and compelling message that's really going to resonate with the audience, and hopefully it will help them to take action. And that's what we want. We want, you can apply this to any types of communication, whether it's a LinkedIn post or, all your connection messages, all that sort of stuff. I'll pop a link to the book as well, so you can have a read of that if you're interested. So we're going to look at applying that principle now to maybe creating a warm email for maybe a use case scenario. I'll just use my own. So here we go. This is the StoryBrand website. I mean, there's a link to this in the book, and it's a free resource. You can just go to mystorybrand.com, sign up for a free account. And what this basically does is it gives you the 7 plans. So you've got the character, which is your customer, what the problems are, they meet you as a guide. This is the plan. There's a bit of an agreement there, or, some guarantees that you can put in place. You call them to action. What kind of transitional stuff have you got going on? And then you've got success and failure. And then this in turn is this character transformation. So for me, a client before, a leaders client, felt frustrated, overwhelmed, uncertain about their ability to achieve their goals. However, after working with Leadif, they'll transform into a confident, empowered individual who has successfully harnessed the power of our solution, and they will embrace a new identity. All fancy words there. What we can do with this now is copy this whole, copy this information, and we can go over to ChatGPT and say, right, using this StoryBrand framework, ChatGPT, just go in quickly. So if for my example, I'm thinking about the warm email. So I've connected with someone on LinkedIn, and I just want to send them a kind of warm follow-up email. We'll just wait for ChatGPT to wake up. It's gone to sleep today. Come on. So part of the onboarding process with Leadif, we take clients through this StoryBrand process just to help them to kind of understand their audience, understand their messaging a little bit better. Sorry, it's the internet's a bit slow. Come on. Any questions whilst we're waiting for ChatGPT to come up so far? Was that a hand up, Nika?
What about when you have very few audience? How do you grow that? I know you start sending one by one emails to people you connect with on LinkedIn.
How many first degree connections have you got on LinkedIn?
About 250.
Well, 250 is a nice audience to start with. Okay, they might not all be relevant, but certainly an initial email to that audience would whittle out the potential people that could be interested. And that's the importance of growing that network. I mean, last week we looked at, LinkedIn give you 100 connection requests per week. You need to make the most of those. And so quite quickly in a month, if you're putting 400 invites out and say average acceptance rate is around about 50%, that's 200 new people every single month. So in 6 months, you've got your 1,000 quite quickly. And then, you'll kind of just another 6 months, you'll have 2,000. So by a year, you can quite quickly build up that audience using a LinkedIn strategy. There are other ways to collect emails for people. We'll look at that a bit later on. We'll look at the Apollo system, how that works, because that's basically a data source. The Leadeth tool has got emails built into it as well, and we can basically provide you with up to 250 data credits, which get you the email addresses for the people you want to be connecting with. So there's lots of ways of kind of building that list up.
What I found with LinkedIn is a lot of people give you your work email address, and when they change jobs, so they say that doesn't quite like translate.
Yeah, I mean, I find a lot of people will put in their personal email addresses on their LinkedIn profile because they hop around from job to job.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
thank you.
bearing that one in mind. For the purpose of what we're doing here, I've actually got GPT Plus, and we've got plugins. Plugins allow us to do extra things like upload, check web links out, and things like that, which is quite helpful. But I could say I'm the owner. In fact, I won't even give it. My prompt will just be what I've just pasted out from the story brand. So here is my story brand framework. So we're giving it the prompt of basically all the story brand framework. Please craft me a warm email to existing LinkedIn connections. And we can be a bit more specific and say the connections are busy business owners and founders of tech and software SaaS companies, and this will give it a bit of context in terms of the challenges. Create, okay, and yeah, because it knows that it's writing an email, it'll automatically create the subject line for me and everything that it thinks is most appropriate to this audience. Obviously, if we've collected their email address, we tend to collect their first name, last name as well. And then that helps us to further personalize that email with a bit of extra information. But we can see here, it's created the email, unlock the power of LinkedIn, the personal invitation from, whoever. You can put your name in there. Dear Connections first name. So we'd obviously have their first name, so we could populate that. Hope this email finds you thriving in your endeavors. As somebody who's deeply involved in the tech and SaaS industry, understand the importance of staying ahead in this fast-paced world. So we've got the story brand. It's applying the framework here. So it's looking at the benefit. Had the privilege of helping 100 clients improve. So it's pulled that out. So it's basically pulled out all the right pieces in the email, and then we're introducing the solution, and then we've got the three-step process. So it's condensed it to a 3-step. Obviously, we have 6 stages, but ultimately it's identifying prospects which they might be struggling with. Engagement campaign, so creating the campaigns, which is what we're all about, and lead nurturing. Managing the inbox, responding to leads, and nurture with follow-ups. Flexible subscription model, it's all there. So by partnering with Leadeth, you can look forward to. So it's bullet pointed out the benefits. So it's quite salesy. So we could then go back to and ask it to refine it, reduce it, maybe not make it sound so salesy, or we could say, can you split this into 3? So can you split this down into 3 emails 1 week apart? Something like that. And then we know we can send email 1 on the first week, email 2 on week 2, So email 1, it's splitting it down, the introduction, the problem. Email 2 would be just wait for it to do its computing. It's a much shorter email, easier to read because people might not read that whole initial email. Email 2 is the solution. So we've introduced the problem, and then we're coming in with the solution on the second week, how we deal with that. And then step 3 is the call to action. What's the next step for them? So, this is talking about what is going to be the next step. So a strategy call, which is the main thing. And then joining these masterclasses would be another. So I have 2 call to actions, a direct call to action and a transitional call to action. But yeah, so that's pretty amazing how it's just created that. It hasn't really sucked up too much brain power, but the power of it sits in the prompt, and having that story brand framework really enriches what you're doing. So that's kind of ChatGPT. Mindful time is creeping on, so I'm going to press on a little bit further. Any questions around that whole process, ChatGPT, and kind of using ChatGPT to craft those emails? No, all good. Okay, so there's actually quite a few different tools and systems and software out there that can do that. So we looked at OpenAI's ChatGPT. If you wanted to send slow time, do a campaign yourself. Obviously, there's quite labor intensive to kind of write those emails and copy and paste, and then get the right first name in and do that. But it's a start, and it's kind of might be a good place to begin. Now, on this scale, I've kind of loosely put some software tools that I've been using. So MailerLite is a very straightforward email marketing tool. It's very simplistic in how you can create a campaign. One to look at. Now, Luna is something a bit different. Luna is leveraging AI a little bit more. So like we created the story brand framework, Luna actually allows us to kind of tailor, train the AI on our business and what we're doing. So for example, we've got this bit here. Where are we? The copy. So we're telling it what language we're writing in. We're giving it some information. So this is where I've pasted in my story brand, and then as you send each email, the AI is actually learning, from every little minor adjustment you make to an email. And the way the system works is, firstly, you identify your audience. So you'll choose your list of prospects. These guys are basically fetched in, so it's identifying the right sorts of people here. And then it basically composes an email using AI, using what you've done. So it's kind of like an automated way of doing what we're doing in ChatGPT. So for example, you'll see the contact, the company that they're at, and this will be the first email to them. Okay. And you can choose to generate a new email if you want, if you don't like the look of that one. And there you go. This basically uses AI to kind of analyze a bit of what Jeff's about. So it analyzes his business, it analyzes his company. It does a lot of that scraping in the background, and then it presents you an email. You can go in and just tweak the email so it reads nice, and you can click schedule, and it will push it out automatically from the system. So I'll share a link with that. It's free to try. They give you 25 email credits. It's a credit-based system. So you could potentially send 25 emails, cold emails. So these are cold emails because these are going to people you don't know. Very different to a warm email. Warm email, you'd expect a higher open rate. But yeah, so, it talks about exactly what they're about, something to do with finding hires. So they're obviously something to do with maybe recruitment of some description. And then I introduce our business, inviting them to book a Zoom demo. So if I tweak this and put the right links in, it would start to learn that. And the more I change the email and tweak it, the cleverer it gets for the next email. So once you click schedule, you'll be presented with the next email. So it takes you about 10 minutes, but you can basically push out 25 emails a month on the free account, and you'll start to get some, responses back. When you sign up to Luna, you do have to connect your email inbox. So it's all going to speak to your inbox and can send from your inbox. That whole kind of warm-up process obviously doesn't apply because this is very much you're sending a few emails. You're not sending 3,000 emails in one go. it's very targeted approach. So that's the Get Luna option, and I'll share a link to Luna, so you've got links to that. Apollo and Go High Level. So what these are kind of all-in-one sales engagement and kind of intelligent platforms. I guess they're kind of loosely competitors to Leadith, but Leadith is very different. Leadith is all about LinkedIn, and we also do email, whereas these tools are predominantly email. They don't do any LinkedIn automation yet. They're getting closer and closer, but they just, they'll just have a manual task. So these are great solutions as well to have a look at. Apollo, you can set up, you can sign in and show you how to set up a very simple campaign. Again, it's a credit-based system. I can send you a link so you get some free data credits to test this one out. But this is sourcing the prospects for you as well. So if you're worried about, where to go and where to find those prospects, Apollo data is a good place to go, as well as the Leadith data, of course. So here we go. This is the Apollo Control Center. And what you can see is search. That's the people section. We're going to find people within the people section, and then we allocate them to what we call a campaign. So the campaign are called sequences within Apollo. So I've got a couple that I've set up quite a while ago, targeting specific people. I've got a influencers campaign. So yeah, we can see day one. What you're seeing here is A/B split testing, and that's where you can send two different variants of an email. But yeah, so day one, an email goes out, and then automatically day two, and it basically goes through this sequence. And if they respond to an email, the sequence stops. So this is doing it. This is probably a very pro email tool for email marketing. Simple ones, obviously you've got MailerLite, and then you've also got Leadith. So if you're looking to do an email campaign within Leadith, we have a prospect finder. We can go to campaigns, and we can create just an email marketing campaign within Leadith. Most people do the email as part of a LinkedIn campaign, but there's nothing stopping you going to a smart campaign within Leadith. Choose email only, open the sequence builder. Oh, let's call it test. Get another campaign called test. And what we can do is send an email, and we can then maybe wait a few days and then send another email. So on the second email, we could set a delay of maybe 3 days. And then we could also maybe invite them to a LinkedIn event if we're connected to them on LinkedIn. But we can do lots of other things. But predominantly, an email campaign would look a bit like that, just driving them through an email sequence. So we're filling the funnel and just sending them through, 3 emails, a couple of days apart. And then, on the back of that, we're seeing some really good results. So that's using kind of Leadith to do email marketing as well. Great. We've covered quite a lot of ground there today. Be good to get a bit of feedback from you guys, see where you're at, what you're up to. Any questions? Let's have a bit of a Q&A session, a bit more interaction.
Good morning.
Morning, Gary.
Hi, Alex. Do you ever worry that you might get too many leads and you can't handle all the, because it will build for you, and then you're not delivering what you were hoping to deliver, or
very good point. It's a nice position to be into, because what you basically are creating is a bit of an exclusive waiting list for your services, and then you're able to hand pick and choose exactly the types of people that you want to be working with. So if you've got an abundance of leads, it just means, I like the look of that one. And you can be a bit more choosy and selective. It's never happened to me personally yet. I've kind of had weeks where I've had, quite a few appointments in the diary, and, ultimately 1 or 2 will drop out or no shows. So it kind of, if you're talking about scalability and businesses scaling, then you get you get someone to deal with those leads, and then you just focus on the onboarding, which is kind of where I'm at in terms of my business. I'm kind of looking to get a closer on board to do all the sales and demo calls. And then when they come through, I can just focus on onboarding. So my calendar frees up. They're kind of commission based as well, so they're incentivized by it. But that's kind of scalability, and it's a nice position. I don't think
Thank
you can
you.
ever have too many leads.
Yeah, true.
Alex, I've got a quick one that may not be appropriate. So if it isn't, just shut it down. I got stuck on the mailtester.com and put
Yep.
my main company email address in there because it's been having some issues with some companies,
Okay.
particularly if I email to more than one person in that company. So it's a bit of a frustration, potentially losing business. But one of the things it's clicked on here is it's not signed in with the DKIM.
Yep.
It could be improved with having a.
You want to share your screen if I give you just put it into better context?
Oh, where have you gone? See that one? That one. My desktop. It's fairly tidy. So it's got a score of 9 out of 10. Yay,
Well,
that's not
pretty
bad.
good. Yeah, so I wouldn't be too worried about that sort of score.
But not
yeah.
fully authenticated is why not? It is linked with the people that host the domain and is assigned to my website, which is all very good, but doesn't have this DKIM bit that you were talking about. Don't know how to rectify that. It's also blacklisted, look, with
one server. Yeah. So whatever that one server is, that's kind of holding you back a little bit. Yeah, I mean, in general, deliverability is probably pretty good. If you're getting 9 out of 10, I wouldn't be too concerned. The DKIM record, that's an easy thing to fix, and the DMARC records, again, going into your so how are you just sending them from your own
through
email?
webmail, through the mail thing here.
Yeah. So what is that? Is that a Google Workspace,
Yeah.
an Outlook account? What is it? What kind of format is the email inbox?
Why do you ask questions? I don't know.
Because that determines those records and where we need to go and find the detail we need for those records. So basically, if it happened to be a Microsoft 365 Outlook account, then
no, it's a Gmail. It goes. It's a webmail address that runs through the Gmail thing on
Google
Apple
Workspace
Mail.
address. Yeah, so if it was a Google Workspace account, Google Workspace would give you the credentials in the settings to add to wherever your domain is. And then we just need to go in there and make sure those are set. It's obviously been partially set with the SPF record.
I'll get hold of the lady that's supposed to have set this up.
Yeah, send her a copy of that.
Yeah.
She'll understand it, and just ask her
more than I do.
Yeah, but yeah, one blacklist not too bad. So you could look at creating.
There was this. Oh, yeah, there was this map as well, because you sent me there on the.
So you just typed in your domain name on that one.
Yeah, I did there. If I go. Sorry, guys. So there it is. Inspire Coaching.
Yep.
And the web reputation. Oh, hang on. Don't know where it was. There was a map, and it came up with a big red dot in the middle of America.
What, that blacklist server? That's where it's based.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
There, that one.
So the clients that you can't send to, are they kind of somewhere there? If you zoom in on the map, it'll break it down a little bit more.
I've no idea, because quite often I can be emailing. I know that if I track some of the stuff when I used to look at these things, I'd be emailing a company in Switzerland, but their servers are all in America, and it sort of bounce around all over the place.
Yeah.
So
if you scroll down, is it any of those flagged up?
So is this place?
Yeah. So that'll be a data center, and they've got a blacklist server, and they've just something historical. So introducing a warm-up process might be another way of eradicating that blacklisted server.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Because you're basically warming it up and sending more volume, and hopefully it'll hit that server and it'll think, yeah, actually this is okay. So warming up the domain might improve it. But yeah, short of creating a brand new domain name just for cold email.
I think I'm going to do that because I don't want to get this one blocked even more than it is.
If you've got a 9 out of 10, you don't really want to lose that if it's your main one. So yeah, I'd recommend a new domain, and some people do subdomains. So you can set up a subdomain which saves you buying a new domain name.
Okay.
So I've got mail.leadith.io. and then that's connected to some of my other tools. So yeah, there's several ways of doing it, but
Right.
but
I will
just,
investigate.
the easiest approach is a new domain name, completely separate.
Yeah.
And then you know there's no cross-referencing between the two domains then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Anyone else? Yeah, so just a quick round the room. Any kind of big takeaways that people have learned? Anything new? Be great to.
I just look at it and think, wow, I'm a long way off before I do any of this. It is extremely useful to have this awareness. So thank you very much, Alex. Yeah, I mean, you could spend 24 hours a day on this, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And so I am some way off. Just on the other note, your fourth observer, I've sent a couple of reminders. So if you want to nudge him for your Belvin, you'll get your full report. Victor, wasn't it? I think.
Oh yeah, I think he's on the call actually. So yeah.
Victor. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So thanks for joining today. What's the call to action? The call to action is to turn up next week when we look at video content marketing. It's an exciting topic, leveraging LinkedIn, video engagement, all that sort of stuff. And then we're also I've got, for those that are tuning in on the live, I do a one-to-one strategy session. It's about 45 minutes long, where we can actually look down and drill down and start to put a bit of a plan together in terms of your lead generation and marketing. I'll share a web link. It's leadif.io/strategy. That will take you to the booking page. So there's a couple of slots next week available there if you want to hop on. Schedule some time one-to-one. Don't bring your credit card. It's just value add, and we can chat further. But yeah, thanks for joining today. Good to see you all. See the regulars here.
Yeah.
And
have a great week, everyone.
cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
See you again, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.